Russell Jones, Global Head of Fixed Income Strategy at Westpac. He joins us from Sydney this morning. Russell, yes, a lot on the menu for you to digest. What are you closely monitoring?
Well, at the moment, Europe is still very much front and center in terms of dictating how financial markets are going to play out. I think there's an increasing focus on the auctions, which is scheduled for Italy and Spain at the end of the week. How easy will it be for those countries to begin this process of issuing a great deal of government debt over the course of the next few months? It doesn't feel at this stage like it's going to be terribly easy for them. Long-term interest rates in Italy back above 7% recently. The markets still appear to be very sceptical that European policymakers have done what's necessary to really draw a line under this crisis.
Yeah, you say that, Russell, but, you know, we've had the best start to the U.S. session, second best since 2006. It's more the fixed income market, which seems a bit shaky and cautious. Why this divergence in performance? What is that saying to you?
Well, I think it's telling you that fixed income markets are still very sceptical that we're going to see much of a recovery globally. In fact, we're going to see much growth at all globally. I thought it was very interesting that despite the fact that we had a reasonably constructive employment report out the US last Friday, that the Treasury market actually ended the day stronger than it began. So there's still a very powerful safe haven bid in global financial markets. Still a reluctance amongst investors really to abandon those stores of value that they know they can trust, like the Treasury market.
Okay, so next up is Angela Merkel meeting up with the IMF's head, Christine Lagarde, as well. How do you think this sovereign debt crisis is going to play out this year?
Well, I'm afraid at the moment it's very hard to see how the euro can really hold together in its current form. I think that the situation around Greece remains, particularly unsustainable, but one could also apply that judgment to a number of other peripheral economies. The position we have is that in the absence of a more expansive role by the European Central Bank, and in particular them really coming to the market and seeking to drive long-term interest rates down to sustainable levels, really it's very difficult to see how this whole process can play out in a positive way. We need to see the ECB really take up that mantle, I think. I'm not at all convinced, and we're not at all convinced as an institution, that just fiscal deflation is enough in and of itself. In fact, I think it may prove to be a rather self-defeating policy, quite frankly. We need the ECB to step up to the plate.
Yeah, we do need the ECB to step up to the plate. And so you're saying that your view is still the defining issue on the markets, because yesterday we had this massive rally in Shanghai, up 3%, which rallied, by the way, Hong Kong back from a deficit of 1.5% to see some big gains at the close. What about China's trade balance, trade numbers we're expecting later on today? What about the start of the U.S. earnings season? You don't care about those news points, data points as well?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I think they are. They're important. I mean, China is clearly the second key macro issue for the global economy at the moment. A lot of concerns at the moment about the weakness in recent activity data. The hope, the expectation, if you like, is that policymakers in China will deliver a rather more expansionary monetary stance over the course of the next few weeks and months. I think that will happen, and that will, in due course, help to stabilize real activity in China. We're not looking for a hard landing. And in terms of the earnings season, of course, it's always something which markets have to focus on. We're a little bit cautious on that, quite frankly. It looks to us like profit share in the US is already at a very high level. Difficult to see how it can go much further.
Okay, Russell, good to see you. Russell Jones of Westpac joining us from Sydney this morning.